things, the maintenance crew came to that maintenance team was a specialist maintenance team, and they were perfect to do that work. So what is the accident summary? The Philips disaster was a catastrophic and devastating series of explosions and fires, and it's occurred around 1 p.m. on 23rd of October 1989 at the chemical complex in the Houston's Phillips 66 at Pasadena. So initially they experienced a chemical release on polyethylene plant, and during the clearing of number 2 settling lake part of the plug remained logged in the pipework. So a team member talked to the control team room for taking the assistance, but unfortunately there was a leak, and that leak was a flammable vapor cloud accumulated. Within 2 minutes later, the vapor cloud ignited with the contact of the ignition sources. So that resulted a massive vapor cloud explosion. So after that, there was from this explosion, there was a series of further fire and explosions in that plant and unit. So this was the summary of the that incidents. So what is the consequences of that explosions? The consequences, what are I stored and researched. So that is about 23 fatalities happened due to these incidents, and around 314 people were injured. Billions of dollars of worth damage. I in the last slide, I have captured some of the values, what was the damage and what was the fines over there. So the massive vapor cloud explosion notice after this series of explosion and fires, there was some fireballs occurs, and that can be seen more than 15 miles away from the origin of the incidents. Also, the initial blast in a polyethylene unit registered 3.5 on the Richter scale, and it could be see that very disastrous, very devastating stage was there. The plant lost communications and much of its vast water systems also, and the building housing emergency operation centers and the emergency plans was wrecked in the explosion. And unfortunately, there was also one of the big issue that to control this incident's occurrence, it's taken 10 hours to bring under control. Around 39 tons of highly flammable gases were released through this, and there was open well almost instantaneously. So very fast it's happened. So what went wrong in this incident? Basically, the incident resulted a release of extremely flammable process gas, because in this process to produce the polyethylene product, so there was use of byproduct raw material like ethylene, isobutene, hydrogen, and other to make this product. So there were many raw materials around the as a storage and others, and there was some contact of ignition sources also. So that's why suddenly the vapor cloud accumulated, and with contact of incident it's occurred. So, and it's happened, unfortunately it's happened during the maintenance operations because of the stock of block of the this product polyethylene in the reactor. So the evidence shows that more than 85,000 pounds of highly flammable gases were released through an open valve, and a vapor cloud formed and traveled rapidly through the polyethylene plant. And it's taken only 90 to 120 seconds, and with an ignition source, and exploded with the force of 2.4 tons of TNT. So TNT is nothing but it is a trinitrotoluene, which is one of the process that after an extensive investigations, the OSHA found that safety valves, one for closing and one for opening, had been reversed and therefore did not function properly. So instead of being expelled from the plant, the flammable gases accumulated inside the plant and came into contact with something ignited in the consequently set of a series of explosions. So this was, we can say that it was a phase of how it's wrong. So what was the finding? So OSHA and other sources, I have captured some of the findings that what was the, so it is concluded at that there are major number of major issues was there. For example, there are lack of process hazards analysis over there, inadequate standard operating procedures was there, but it was not as per the standard to, and also there were none fail safe block valve was installed in that, which is still showing the dangerous situations in case of an emergency. Inadequate maintenance permitting system was there by the contractor or subcontractor or even though company members. So inadequate lockout and tagout procedure was followed, and lack of combustible gas detections and alarm systems was there, as there are failure of detection system and somewhere there are poor maintenance of that detections and alarm systems. Also, there are presence of ignition sources, inadequate ventilation systems, fire protection systems not maintained well, and number of company audits ignored. It was revealed that there were some internal audits by the safety team members, which was ignored by and not rectified as per requirement. There was also an issue of absence of effective management systems. Always we know that the management is the leading positions. You need to be take action on time once there are some gaps in the organizations. So that's why there are there is absence of effective management systems, which in the form of like, and it's happened that uncontrolled release of flammable vapor occurred and minimize the effect of release of flammable and similar things. As a technical measures, there was some loop fall. So it was noticed that single isolating valve was open at the time of release, and also the air hoses to valves were to disconnected prior to maintenance, but it was not carried out. It was not disconnected. Also, the site held a large inventory of flammable materials. This is one of the issue also that where, sorry, flammable, this is one of the issue that large inventory of flammable material was stored in the plant area, and it was not well settled, not any safety measures has been taken to avoid such type of contact of ignitions there. The ventilation intakes of the building close to or downwind of the process plant were not arranged so as to prevent the intake of gas in the event of release. So this is one of the issue that many staffs or employees was get engulfment due to the process that gases, release of gases, and they died. An effective permit system was also, there was lack of that, and by the company members as well as the contractor, and there was no dedicated fire water systems, as there was some issue over there and it was not settled down. Also, the unable to hear the siren by the plant members, and it was also that they did not take in any emergency situations and they did not evacuate from the plant. Control center was damaged beyond use and telephone communication disrupted. The location of the control room were all criticized. So this was the technical measures which was captured after the incidents. As this was the very devastating incidents, and it could be a catastrophic. So there was some penalties and by the regulatory bodies. So For the violation of willful violation of the Occupational Safety and Health Act, general duty, approximately 5,660 thousands means its penalty has given to the by the authority to the industries. Issued for serious violation in the areas of emergency responses, for inadequate pre-emergencies planning, plant alarm systems, hazard communication, and respiratory protections, around 6,200. Also, the contractor who was the Fish Engineering Construction Company, for violation of the permit systems, they got 724,000 like that dollar. And also for the inadequate respiratory protection and deficiency in the company hazards communication, around $5,500. And for housekeeping issues, $100. So this was the penalties. You can assume that how, if there are lack of safety measures, how much there means issues could be occur, and how much there is loss of in the form of the people and property and money also. There is one short video I would like to share with you, just a minute, and it is very good video which can show that how just 1 minute. So this video will tell you that how this happened and what is the mechanism over there in the plant.
89, Pasadena, Texas.
The sound is clear for here.
An explosion could be heard from miles from its origin, and the resulting fireball could be seen from more than 15 miles away. Today, we'll be looking at the famous Philips disaster and take a look at the engineering and what went wrong in the process. I'm your host Akshay Kurwa, and let's begin. Fire and subsequent blast originated at the Phillips Petroleum Company's Houston Chemical Complex facility, and the initial blast registered 3.5 on Richter scale, and the conflagration took 10 hours to bring under control. The explosion killed 23 employees and injured 314 others. The plant produced approximately 6.8 million tons per year of high-density polyethylene, a plastic material used to make milk bottles and other containers. The HDPE production was done using process circulated through an arrangement of 30-inch diameter pipe mounted vertically in 150 feet tall continuous ring-like structures called as loop reactors. The loop reactors contained a catalytic reaction that produced HDPE, and the raw materials were ethylene and isobutane as a diluent. And hydrogen and hexene were also added to achieve target product quality specifications. Thus, the raw material in the loop were highly flammable, especially under the process conditions of 600 psi and a temperature of 80 to 110 degrees Celsius. 6 settling legs were located at the bottom of each loop reactor. Now, each settling leg consisted of a flanged 8-inch diameter pipe connected to a pneumatically controlled 8-inch diameter ball valve. Beyond this, the ball valve was an 8 feet length of run of straight pipe where the reaction product, a polyethylene fluff, was collected. According to design, the polyethylene fluff was expected to move freely through the settling leg from the loop reactor to the flash tank, but in reality, the fluff tended to collect inside the settling leg. The accumulation of fluff would develop into a large cylindrical log inside the settling leg. Eventually, the log would become large enough to interrupt the product transfer between the loop reactor and the flash tank. Since production would cease if all of these 6 supporting legs got plugged with these logs, so invasive and routine maintenance was required in order to remove these logs from these supporting legs. So the settling log maintenance was performed when the plant was actually running at the normal temperature and pressure. So it was critical to isolate these settling logs
in order to perform maintenance safely.
The nominal procedure for closing the 8-inch ball balls is to lock them closed and disconnect the actuator air hoses. Then the operators then contact the maintenance contractor to remove the polyethylene logs from each of the plug settling logs. On the fateful day, the reactor lost its entire contents of more than 40 tons of highly flammable process materials and almost instantaneously. And within the next 2 minutes, the flammable vapor cloud ignited and exploded shortly after 1 p.m. local time with a force equivalent to 2.4 tons of TNT, registering a 3.5 magnitude earthquake on Richter scale.
The US Department of Labor's Occupational Safety and Health Administration, also known as OSHA, was asked to conduct an investigation.
The findings were that the 8-inch ball valve was found open, the manual lock was removed from the valve stem, and the 8-inch ball valve actuator hoses were found reconnected and they were not disconnected as required by the local site's alternative maintenance procedure.
It is unfortunate that OSHA was not able to derive the specific sequence of events that led to the disaster. This is understandable since no one in direct contact of the equipments that led to the release survived the explosion.
However, investigation reports suggest that the following sequence occurred prior to the disaster. 1. The ball valves were not locked closed while disconnecting the settling legs, and poorly trained workers switched the actuator hoses. This incorrect actuator hose configuration would open the 8-inch ball valve with the actuator switch showing the valve to be closed. This led to large leakage of highly flammable liquid into the atmosphere, which eventually found a spark source and led to catastrophe. Additionally, there were no warning systems in place to give notice of the impending disaster. In addition to the priceless lives lost, the company and its contractor, Fish Engineering, faced several fines and lawsuits, which could have all been avoided if adequate worker training was provided.
Well, I hope you guys learned one lesson from the case.
So this was the video, and which gave you some information about that, how this process means, due to this process, lack of process, how these incidents happen. I hope I try to give you some information, as it is a just a brief informations. In detail it can be find out in many resources, or if I miss something, usual sir or other colleague will cover it. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Abul Khan. It was a good presentation, great presentation, and adequate enough for reminding us. Of course, those who are interested can get volumes and volumes of information, critique, investigation, reports, etc. on this incident. As I told you, this has been a milestone incident. So that's not the purpose at this point of time. You covered the major points very efficiently. So now, at this point, we will invite some questions. If some of you have, please unmute yourself and you can ask a question. Yes. Do we have some questions at this point of time?
Chat box also open. You can type your questions in chat box. Thank you.
Yeah, do we have some questions that you want us to answer now? We see we have good number of participants. Come forward. This is what I have been telling earlier also. A community means communication, and this is the way you show your participation, your active participation. Yes. Okay. While you are, some of
Hello.
you are, yeah, there is a question.
Yeah, I actually want to ask a question, but the thing is, I couldn't get my question very well. The question I want to ask is, in the video, we were showed where the both side wasn't closed. But my question there is, what if one side is closed, or I mean, okay, what if both sides are closed and either there is a mistake or there's a hole on the pipes? Wouldn't be an explosion? Would there? I think would there still be an explosion, or what? Or
Actually, your
is it still
question is
going
not
to
clear.
be
Your
like
voice is
it's all
not clear.
protected?
Can you please put your question on the chat box, because the voice is cutting. We are not able to hear you properly. Can you put your question on the chat box?
Okay, sir. Okay, sir.
Okay. While others are also preparing their questions, or they are trying to understand, let's also utilize this opportunity for self-introduction by those people who are joining for the first time. This again, I say that this is a communication platform, and we need to know each other. So go ahead, and those who are joining for the first time, please tell your name, from where you are, what do you work at, etc. Go ahead.
Hello.
Hello.
Yeah, go ahead.
Are you listening, sir?
Hello?
Yes. Are
Yeah,
you
yeah, we
listening?
can listen you. Yeah, we can
Yes.
hear you.
I am Muhammad Shafiqur Rahman from Pakistan.
Good, welcome.
Yes.
Thank you so much. I am a chemical engineer. I am chemical engineer and MSc in chemical engineering. I am working on occupational health and safety since from 5 years.
Good.
Currently, I am working with Descon Engineering. I worked with Descon Engineering in Oman, Pakistan, and now I am ready to go Qatar.
Good. So how did you hear about this platform?
Yes, I hear that platform from LinkedIn social
Okay.
media. Then
Very good.
and YouTube also. Then I
Good,
joined.
good.
Then I joined different links, webinars, and webinars on American Society of Safety Professional. Attended different webinars. And
You are most welcome. And
yeah.
we would request you to continue, keep joining this, and ask your friends and known people also to join this forum. This is free of cost, and we want you to also to participate by making your presentations. So you can today or later you can register for a presentation, 10-15 minutes presentation, so that we all hear from you, Muhammad Shafiqul.
Okay,
Now,
thank you, sir.
yeah, thank you very much. Do we have some other person who has joined this for the first time?
Yes, good evening. My name is Liz DeVilme. I'm a new member of the Kuwait chapter.
Good, welcome.
Thank you, thank you. As I stated before, I was in the Southwest chapter in Dallas, but I've been here in Kuwait for the past 2 years. So I sadly leave my Dallas chapter behind and have come on board with the Kuwait chapter. So I'm excited about the Kuwait chapter. It seems like you guys are very active and very busy. So I like that. I work here on Camp Arif John as a contractor for a company called Vectrus for the Army. I am the hazardous waste supervisor for 2 areas. One is a hazardous waste storage accumulation point, and the other one is a hazardous waste redistribution center. So my hands are pretty busy as well, and I'm also part or responsible for the spill response team if there are any hazardous chemicals or any hazardous spills.
Great, you are welcome, Liz, and we are honored to have you here because we need such active people to participate in the chapter program, and of course this process safety management forum community, and we encourage you to present something 10-15 minutes, your personal experience or some past incident. That's what we do every month on the third Wednesday. So please consider making a presentation sometime in next month or month after if you can. And you also can participate in so many other events, activities that we are doing on this chapter. Thank you, Riz. Do we have someone else also who is joining this for the first time?
Sir.
Yeah, unmute yourself.
Hello, sir.
Yeah, go ahead.
My name is Amarjit Kumar. I am a student of Indian Institute of Engineering, Science and Technology, Shibpur, India.
Welcome, Amarjit.
In the Department of Center of Healthcare Science and Technology in Industrial Safety and Health Management Engineering.
Good. Welcome, Amarjit. How did you hear about this forum?
I see some notification on the Facebook, so I can participate in this events.
So you have any prior experience or interactions on process safety management?
I am basically a student nowadays, so I am not participating in such type of.
Good. That's very good because we want people like you who want to take up, bigger roles in the profession. And process safety management is a very exciting area that you can think of and continue with us in future as well. So we encourage you and wish you all the best. Okay, do we have someone else as well who has joined for the first time? As I said earlier that these meetings we are doing every month, third Wednesday of each month. Although this time we have moved because of Eid holidays and have maximum participation, we thought that we can delay it by a week. So we are here today. But next month and in future as well, we will have this on the third Wednesday, 7 p.m. Kuwait time, unless otherwise notified differently. We request others to come forward who are joining this meeting for the first time.
Hello, sir.
Yeah.
Sir, this is Shiva from Dubai speaking. Actually,
Shiva, can you please
yes,
can we have your full name, please?
Shiva Prakasham.
Mr. Shiva Prakashan. You are welcome. Can you talk
Thank
about
you.
yourself?
Yes, myself, Shiva, and then working for past 8+ years in HSC field. And I have experience in constructions and iris buildings, and I have experience in Gulf also. I worked for oil and gas projects. It is like construction. It's not like process division. It is in construction. It is related to opposite to process. This session, it will be useful for me, so that I will join this session.
Yeah, you are most welcome, Shiva, and we are happy that you joined. I know that many of us who are working in the Gulf region or even from other areas, other geographical regions,
Correct.
they are not really so much in process safety, but
Correct.
it is a good idea to keep your eyes and ears open, because after all, safety, health, and environment is a huge field. And like when we say that we want to study physics, that does not mean that we will have only physics. You have to have mathematics, you have to have background of chemistry, etc.
Right.
Same way, health, safety, and environment, it is a wide area of knowledge, body of knowledge. Process safety management is an important area, and I'm happy that you and people like you who are from construction or even other fields, they are interested and they are joining. Thank you, and remain with us, and we encourage you to tell others also to join this forum free of cost. Nothing nothing we charge. However, as I kept telling, please consider communicating. This is a community. We want the communication back and forth, and that means you have to ask questions, be prepared to present something in future, 15 minutes, 20 minutes, etc. So welcome again. Now we will have one more spot for someone who has joined this for the first time before we proceed to the next part of our agenda. Someone who has joined for the first time. People, we see that there are almost 60 participants, so I'm quite sure there could be some new people, some more new people. Yes. Who is this Saransh 34? Can you identify yourself? Have you joined this forum before? Saransh 34. Possibly he logged in and he is not around. Another name that's not so much I have seen before, Sujit Banerjee. Sujit Banerjee. Sujit Banerjee, can you
yes, sir, I can hear you, sir.
Unmute yourself and introduce.
Sir, I am an old member. I joined before 1 year, sir.
Ah, very good. What you are doing? Are you in Kuwait or you are somewhere else?
Sir, I am in Kuwait. I am working as a HSC supervisor in KMPC.
Good, good. Welcome. And I'm happy that you are continuing with this forum. And last person that I would take up, if someone else is not coming up, is although he has joined before also, but I don't think he introduced himself before. Yash Garlapati.
Hi,
Yash, can
can you
you
all hear me?
introduce yourself?
Yeah, sure. I can. Can you all hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. Go ahead.
Yeah. Hi. Good evening, everyone. My name is Yash Party. I'm currently working for the Kuwait drilling company. I'm an environmental engineer by profession, and I've been here quite a few times, but this is the first time I'm introducing myself.
Good, good. Yes, welcome and keep participating.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah.
Okay, now we move on to our next part since we still do not have any question either on, let me see if we have any question on my name is Jasper. I don't see any question, any queries yet. And there is an introduction by a gentleman called Gasper. He is a hospital fire and safety officer in Bahrain. So welcome, Gasper, on this platform, and we hope that you will continue with us and introduce others also who can benefit from this forum. So now next we introduce Mr. Sekar. Mr. Sekar is going to, he has a wide background. I know him since quite some time. He is an HSC engineer in NAPESCO, and he is going to talk about project health, safety, environment review. That is, sometimes we call it phaser process, and I am quite sure he is going to talk something new to all of us that we can benefit from. So, Shekhar, please introduce yourself and go ahead.
Yeah, thank you, sir. Am I audible, sir?
Yeah, you are.
Okay.
Very much.
Yeah, thank you very much, sir. At the outset, I am thankful to the ASSP-KC chapter, the Present Management Committee, and the advisory council members, and the PSM expert and PSM community moderator, Mr. Udvesar, and Mr. Ramana for coordinating all these activities, sir. And with your all and Mr. PSM community moderator's permission, I'm going to start my presentation, sir. Ramana, can
go
you?
Ahead.
Ramana? Yeah.
Yes, it's very clear. Okay.
Today, I'm going to talk about project health, safety, environmental review. Shortly, we can call phaser. What is the phaser process? The phaser process is not a risk management tool like HAZID, HAZAB, KRA, SIL, but rather it is a qualitative audit of the project's HSE plans and actions. It does not agree an established project's HSE plan and action. This process is meant to be protective, not policing, and improvement are what is aimed at. This is the basic of the purpose of the phaser process. Now I will go to second slide. Are you able to see my slide?
Yes, it's clear.
Yeah.
Okay. Just put in a slideshow mode.
Pardon?
Slideshow mode.
More.
Preview mode, like you can say.
Okay. It's okay?
Yes.
Yeah. Now, what is the contents in this phaser presentation? What is a phaser and why it is phaser done? And what is the purpose and scope of phaser? And what is the definitions of terms used and roles for phaser? and phaser team, those who are involving the phaser team as a members, and what is the inputs to the phaser, and the project HSE health safety review, and what is the terms of reference. These are the contents we are going to discuss on this presentation. Now, phaser stands for Project Health Safety Environment Review. It is a HSE procedure which provides assurance to the company that developments, that project activities fully accord with the company's HSE expectations. The phaser are not tool in that way that design review, environment impact assessment, hazard opportunity studies, quantitative risk assessment studies, and hazard identification studies. But it is rather a qualitative audit of the project's HSE plans and actions. But it doesn't suggest scope changes or alternatives, but finds shortfalls and out of the agreed and established projects HSE health plans and actions. Now, this phaser process is meant to be protective, and phaser are internal to the project, but records must be kept to show that they are all keeping on, the records are in the state. The phaser should be conducted at all project stages in accordance with the company procedures, like HSE action tracking registers of each project. The HSE action tracking register or hazard register contain all HSE issues have been raised from the initial stages of the project, from the concept selection to the commissioning stage. Why the phaser is required? For example, I can share some slides, because this is the slide which shows the design point of view. In the design point of view, we'll see the tank. While filling the tank with the fire hydrant water, roof blow off due to inadequate vent design. So whether the design has been properly done, all those things have been captured in the phaser stages. And overall objective of the project HSE review process is to assure that HSE sensitive areas have been identified in a systematic way, and that is involved in the major projects, its engineering and so operational systems will be developed to control, manage the identified risk. The scope of the phaser will cover all technical aspects of the project within the facilities of the company. Then the project phases for this phaser, this will be in the different phases. The stage 1, it is called identification phase, and stage 2, it is a concept selection and feasibility, and stage 2.2, concept selection and statement of requirements, and stage gate 3.1, it is project definition, that means feed stage. Then 3.2 gate, it is in the project definition stage or validation stage. Then gate 4, it is the project execution stage, and stage 5 is in the operation and monitoring stage. These are the stages we will see one by one. What is the concept selection stage? These are the different stage of the phaser projects. First, we have to see that concept selection stage that we used to call phaser 1. In the phaser 2, we used to have made it in the project definition stage. That means it is before tendering any project. Then phaser 3 will be carried out during the detailed engineering and design HSE review. Then phaser 4, that it will be reviewed during the construction review, that is execution stage. Then phaser 5, that review will be carried out during pre-commissioning and commissioning stage, that is called execution stage also. Then phaser 6, it will be carried out during the project operation stage, and after the operation there will be a monitoring stage, This will be carried out in the different stage, in the different phaser level. Then for conducting any phaser team, it is not a single team. It shall be conducted by multidisciplinary team under the leadership of the phaser chairman. The phaser chairman and members should be completely independent of the project under review, but having relevant skills and competencies. In case of the phaser chairman is from the same company, then such a person cannot belong to the same asset or same department of the team for initiating the phaser. Then this phaser the project HS review. The projects from the HSE point of view are reviewed at the each stages in the respective projects phase development. In total, there can be 6 project HS review for the project in the different stage and different phases of the project. The key objective of the project HS review exercise are below. During HSE management systems and elements and procedures are implemented and effectively complied. Then the project list of the specifications, codes, standards, and these are appropriately validated and wherever it is applicable and compatible with the existing facilities. And this phaser is to be verified that design is being developed within these specifications and codes and standards. Again, the project HSE review is depend upon the stage of projects and different projects or different phaser. There are typical list of documents to be reviewed at the each stages of the phaser. For example, HSSE plan, HSSE studies, reports such as hazard study, HACCP study, quantitative risk assessment study, environment impact assessment study, safety integrity level, all are being covered in this each respective of the phaser studies. And previous phaser reports and status of the action items also to be covered on the next stage of the phaser study. And any design change procedures or any quality audit reports are there, and pre-commissioning procedure and commissioning procedures are approved procedures are in the place, and any emergency response plans also available or it is in the place. All those to be reviewed during the each stages of the project health safety and review. Now, each phaser exercise will review the immediate phaser report as well as the status of the recommendation of the earlier phaser. And the objective is to verify the status of implementation of the recommendations. And project team shall ensure that all documents and drawings are reviewed mentioned in the immediate previous phaser report are made to the phaser team well before commencement of the review for the verification. And terms of reference, the terms of reference will be undertaking the agreed terms of reference, which will define what is the scope of the activity and what are the scope of work and what is the time scale and who are all the members to be participated and what is the previous HSE studies report recommendations and what are the previous phaser reports. All the will be reviewed in each stages of the HSE review. Now, what is the advantages of the phaser? It gives an understanding the methodologies employed. It is a structured approach to examining the HSE risk. It is an audit of the project procedures and their implementation to ensure the compliance of the standards and legislations. And the phaser will provide assurance to the stakeholders that sensitive areas of HSE have been covered and appropriate procedures have been developed to manage these risks. And phaser confirmed that the changes identified in the as-built checks have been subjected to appropriate review process. And it confirmed that necessary health, safety, security, environment regulatory requirements have been met. These are the basic idea of the project health safety environment review, but each project health safety review, there will be different objectives will be there. For each objectives, whether each phase status as all the recommendations or have been implemented and documented had been also verified. Is this is like a qualitative audit. This much only very basic presentation only can give about the project health safety environment review. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Sekhar. It was brief, but you have covered all the important aspects of phaser process, the phaser procedure. Now it's time for some questions. So anyone who is listening or viewing, please go ahead, introduce yourself and ask a question. Go ahead, unmute yourself.
Good evening, sir. Myself, Durga.
Yeah, good evening.
Yeah, good evening. Welcome, Durga.
Sir,
go ahead, ask your question.
My question is, while designing the any equipment or machinery, what is the use of phaser in that stage?
No, not, you mean phaser C. First of all, there is a, for example, in the phaser 3 used to normally conducting in the detail engineering stage. Okay. In the detail engineering stage, what are the HSC studies have been covered? As per the objectives of the each phaser stage, that has to be covered and complied by the, as per the objectives of the procedures by the one of the upstream industries. Okay. Whether any equipment has been designed or it is properly designed, that design basic can be reviewed during the particular study process. For example, HACCP study process, ASSP study process. In the outcome of the study reports, any recommendation will come out or any findings will come out. In that recommendations, whether the recommendation has been fulfilled or complied with the appropriate drawings and records have been met, that type of it will cover, we can say the HSC action tracking register. In the HSC action tracking register, all the recommendation part will be available and what stages it is covered. And these recommendations, whether it comes from the HACCP study or ASSP study of the particular equipment or design, and these recommendations have been properly implemented by drawings and documentation has been done. All those things will be reviewed during the each respective of the project health safety environmental review. This is the documentation. This is the quality audit process. I hope that you are understood.
Yeah,
yes,
good
thank
evening
you,
all.
sir.
This is Dr. Siva Prasad. Can I intervene? Can I take 2 points, please?
Yeah, please, sir. Welcome, sir. Good evening, sir.
Sir, would you permit me to take 2 points? Yeah, Mr. Sekhar well covered the phaser aspect. The question has raised that is the phaser reviewing is checking the design aspects. That's what the question, if I rightly understood.
Okay.
So the phaser is the scope of the phaser is to review whether the the design aspects have been covered to take care about the health, safety, environmental aspects. For example, the noise levels. If you are bringing any equipment in the new facility, so whether this equipment maybe a compressor, for example. So is it going to meet the noise levels? Let us say at KOC, if it is 85 decibels for 8 hours of a work, or international standard is 80 decibels for 8 hours of a work. So whether these aspects have been taken to control the particular hazard. So that the limitation of the phaser at the design stage is this much only. So once the phaser team reviews, yes, it is within these limits, whatever this equipment we are going to introduce, it is meeting the noise standards, means the team is giving an assurance to the, what you say, the management. Yeah. So that's what I want to add one point. Can we give one or two examples, because our majority of the participants belongs to construction areas, and youngsters, they would like to know if they would like to go, if they are going for a phaser 4 level, means constructability review. So what examples we can give? Can you, Sekhar, Mr. Sekhar, can you give one or two
In
examples?
that case, we will see health, safety, environmental, and security plan we will make during the each stages, right? In the HSC plan, everything will be designed, and what is the industrial hygiene and how much noise will be there as per the what is the HSC SMSC procedures has to be complied. All those things will be designed in the HSC plan, and the HSC, as per the HSC plan, the contractor has been complied as per the HSC plan, which is designed in the present state. That HSC plan has been properly approved, and it has been completely covered with respect to the each designed area. For the construction area, for example, the compressor area, whether the area is completely, as you said, that hierarchy control, whether it is elimination or substitution, all those things have been, engineering controls have been in place, and all the design part of that will be mentioned in the HSCC plan. So these plan or the particular company has been complied, then we will be is verified, and based on the verification and based on the audit reports, the inspection reports has been made and proved that okay, these equipments has been properly designed. In that way only we can do the like qualitative audit. Based on the qualitative audit only, we will be able to see that these industrial hygiene related, in terms of industrial hygiene, whether it is been covered or not. Only we can ensure that as per the HSC review has been made or it is covered, it is compliant. Only that much level only we can ensure. This is what I understood.
Yeah. So I would like to add one more point here. The constructability review, that is the stage 4, what you have mentioned in the phaser 4, they're very, very vital for ensuring the project safety HSC compliance, because that is the what you call key point in ensuring the what you say process safety related issues when you go for the operation of any plant.
Yeah,
what I mean,
as you
if you
said,
control, if you identify and control the risks at the constructability level, that is another opportunity which this phaser is giving to review. Okay, so it is a little different from the normal safety inspections what our teams do. So to the right way to understand the constructability review, phaser 4, is that as per the design, the plant is being constructed or not. For example, the vents, the vents, high point vents, how they have put as per the design, it is there or not. If it is missing, then it is going to create a hazardous situation, and any ignition source comes, then there could be a possibility of explosion or fire. Therefore, in this
yeah, thank you, Dr. Siva and Speaker. There is another question that has been raised by Jasper Precio. I'll read this question. He has put it on the chat box. Okay, this process is the same as QMS, right? If not, what are the differences? Because if we implemented the same process, it will take a confusion to the company if they already have a quality management system. Part of QMS is the audit. So can you answer this, Sekhar?
Sir, for this case, especially in each stage, there will be objectives for project. For example, Mr. Dr. Supras was asking about the constructability stages. In the stages, there are certain objectives are there to review. For example, to verify the project quality controls are sufficient to deliver the plant integrity. This is the one of the objectives of the constructability review. Then to confirm the construction workforce, training and competence assessments arrangements are in place. That also to be confirmed during this stage. And these activities, how you can ensure by through the documentation part, and whether the documentation part, how the company has been complied by the contracting company. So we have to ensure that verify the HSE management systems in place and whether these are being implemented. That also to be verified through the documentation process.
Right. So how basically he is asking possibly that how it is different than quality management system.
That I'm not able to say, sir. Very sorry. I could not get that.
Yeah, okay. It is an issue for exploration.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do we have any more questions for Sekhar or in general? Maybe someone else also can answer. Do we have some more questions? Well, we can give a few more moments. Think of any question, anyone. I see that there are still about 60 people participating.
Good evening, sir.
Are you? Yeah. Hello. Go ahead.
Yeah, sir. I am Sridhar Vikmandla from Kuwait Drilling Company, HSE advisor, sir. Sir, only thanks for a great presentation, Shiva, sir. Sir, only one question is, sir, maybe I am right or not. Sir, is it any mandatory for this phaser should be included in the HSE plan, or it's independent we can conduct or something like this, sir?
No, this is the mandatory for each stages of the project stage. See, for example, as we mentioned, for the phaser 3, normally will be contracted during the commissioning, during the detail engineering stage. So each stages, the phaser shall be covered and it shall be included in the hazard register. Other mean we can say HSE action tracking register. It is a mandatory for the project which is being handled by the upstream of the company in Kuwait.
Okay, okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yes, hello, sir.
Okay, good. Do we have any other question?
Yes, hello.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, Gaspar speaking.
Yeah.
Yeah, Gaspar, your question you had put to. Go ahead.
Yes, sir. I just want to clarify. He mentioned that it is a mandatory. Is there any international law that Pfizer is part of the mandatory in the in safety procedures?
No, there is no international standard for the project HSE review as far as I know. But this is the practice and this is the procedure, and this is one of the HSCC element has been developed and it is being followed by the concerned companies. That is what I know. As far as I know, only I can explain this one. According to me, there is no
already have
international
a
standard.
quality management system. They cannot implement this one. Okay.
No.
Right.
Yeah, correct. But the quality control management system, the particular quality control documents or records have been properly documented, and only this is the verification stage that can be only made through the particular management
the quality management system is the verification, documentation, training, and audit, right?
Yeah. For example, ISO 9001, it is for the quality management system. Likewise, there is no international standard for project health safety environment review. That is what I know.
This presentation is for your own company, right?
That is the company's procedure. That is one
in
of
your
the
own company.
HSCC elements. Yes, that company procedure has been implemented and is followed by the contractors also. That to be ensured. This is a part of the HSCC management procedure of the particular company.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, do we have any more questions? I have one related question. If someone is not asking, Sekar, are you
Yes.
aware of pre-startup safety review? One of the elements of PSM.
Pre-startup review. Yeah, that is there. Yes,
Right.
yes. Sir.
So how you differentiate phaser as against PSSR?
Yeah, correct, sir. The phaser, normally the phaser stage will be conducted in the east stage, right, sir? But in the PSSR, pre-startup safety review will be ensured that is any hazardous material. It is introduction to any hazardous material, that procedure will be followed, whether the pre-startup any entry into the hazardous material into the plant or process facilities. That is different from the phaser, sir.
Yeah, how the two are different?
No, phaser, it is the commissioning, suppose it is the pre-commissioning activities like any testing or any draining or any purging and all will be done. But that can be carried out during the phaser stage. But PSSR stage, whether it is prior entry to any hazardous material, all the completely covered by the watering, flushing, draining, nitrogen purging, everything done, then this hazardous material will be allowed to enter in the process plant. And prior to the PSSR, all the documentation part or design part also been covered and implemented and verified. That also be to be ensured.
Right.
Yes.
So that means phaser is for all phases of the project, whereas PSSR is specific to commissioning or plant startup.
Pre-commissioning,
Yeah. Great.
Question, sir.
So, yeah, go ahead.
Yes, sir. Before we implement any procedures, it's supposed to be accompanied with the local and international law, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Is there any law or international law that can back up the PACER standard?
Pardon, I'm not getting your question. Can you repeat, please?
Yeah. As I said, when we are implementing any standard in a company, we should back it up with a law, international or local law.
Yeah.
Is there any law that
it is the legal, it is the legal requirements of the particular state.
In which state, sir?
Suppose if you are following the EPA standard in the Environmental Protection Agency in Kuwait Environment Protection Law, that also going to be ensured by the Kuwait government, Kuwait law.
Okay.
Like Kuwait Environmental Protection Agency for related to the environmental issues. That whether that legal requirements has been complied, that also to be ensured.
But it is the quality management 19,001, right? It's not the PACER.
9,001.
Yeah.
Yeah, to answer your question, this is not a law that we know of anywhere. PACER is not a law, not a legal requirement, so to say. However, most of the legal requirements in the world, they look for some best practices, whether you have done things that would ensure safety and integrity of your system. So if you have done phaser, some process, some procedures like phaser will help you to prove that yes, you have done best practices, you have taken enough care, and therefore you have covered you have identified and covered most of the risks. That's what
I
legal
understand.
authorities would look forward to. However, phaser per se is not a legal requirement in most of the Middle East countries like Kuwait or maybe even Bahrain, where you are located. However, companies, individual companies, for example, KOC, for which Seker is working, Kuwait Oil Company, they require that all their projects, they must follow phaser. So the company and their contractors, they need to follow phaser process.
Understood now, sir.
Right. Okay, so we have concluded the second presentation also. And if somebody is having more questions, you can always, feel free to post it now or later to the group on WhatsApp group or on email chat, etc. Do we have someone who was left behind and want to introduce herself or himself to the group?
And one more thing, sir, Vijay sir. And thank you so much for giving me this opportunity. So once again, thank you, the Kuwait chapter ASSP, for giving this great opportunity for this, giving the presentation, sir. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you both, Seker as well as Abul Khan. You made efforts and made the presentation. At this point, let me ask someone who wants to present the next month. Is there someone who is prepared to present next month? Normally, what we do is that we have two presentations. One is from recounting the history, some milestone incidents. You can use CSB or some other resources, and any known resources, as long as it is authentic, it is reliable. Go ahead and present 10 minutes, 15 minutes. And the other presentation is normally about some of your own personal experiences, that you were in some incident or you were part of an incident or you had a very internal view or inside view of the incident. It happened in your company or a company or an incident that you are very much aware of. So you can present 10-15 minutes. And again, PowerPoint presentation is not mandatory. You can just tell by your own notes, or you can have a PDF to to show to the other people, and you can read from there. You can have just one diagram and you can talk on that diagram. So there is no fixed format. We are not interested in a PowerPoint presentation alone. So just talk about it. Anyone who is ready for the next month, please raise your hand.
Sir, hope Tilak is there. One person, Tilak by name. He is last time he has been introduced for giving the presentation next month.
Sure. So is Tilak attending this?
Tomorrow is engaged with some other these things. He is preparing for that. So he is he already discussed about it about regarding the presentation.
We will be very happy to hear from Tilak. So this is one person, and let him get in contact with Ramana or with me, or let him just write in the group. We will be very happy to hear from Tilak, whatever topic he's talking about. Is there another person who wants to come forward? This is your chance. This is an opportunity for any of and all of you. It is we want to hear from you, your personal, or about anything you want to speak about. Liz, you are still here around? Please, Devilme, are you still around? You would like to speak about some waste, hazardous waste management issues? We have so many new participants. Come forward. We would like to hear from you. Jasper, you would like to talk about something that you think that will help us, will make us wiser?